Good morning. All right, so I've been thinking about this for longer than I probably should have, but with given current events, I figured I'd bring it up again. How do I say this? I have questions. I have questions about freedom of speech. I have questions about the hypocrisy of freedom of speech. And honestly, I just wanted to make this video so people could stop and think and maybe have the mental capacity to see stuff from other points of view. I don't know. Could be crazy, but we gonna try. First thing I did was I Googled, what is the freedom of speech? It is the right to express one's opinions and ideas without government interference, retaliation, or punishment. In the United States, this fundamental right is protected by the First Amendment, but is not absolute, with certain categories of speech, like incitement to violence, true threats, defamation, and fraud being exceptions. In essence, freedom of speech protects the marketplace of ideas and allows for criticism of the government, but it does not grant a license to say anything without consequence, especially when that speech crosses into unprotected categories or involves conduct that can be regulated. Okay, I feel you on that. But let's take a moment to think about things. Okay, so for the record, anyway, you know what? We're gonna keep going. You know what? Here it is. So, given this whole Charlie Kirk thing and, other, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, all of them getting fired, here's the thing. You do have the right to say whatever you want to say. The problem is that what you say comes with consequences. And you can't just go out there, because it's not you that owns your TV show or your company. It's something much bigger. So you are still an employee, which is why I think it was probably a good idea that a bunch of y'all got fired for saying inhumane things about Charlie Kirk's death. No one's asking you to throw a mourning parade in his honor or any of that. A lot of people think that he spread hate speech, but maybe that hate speech was just facts and statistics that you as a person weren't mentally capable of wrapping your head around or accepting accountability, because in today's day and age, a lot of people like to pretend that, oh, it doesn't matter for me, but they want everybody else to be accountable. Negative Ghost Rider. And when it comes to the hypocrisy of things, I don't get it. Because here's what's up. So we'll be very honest. So black people can say whatever they want about white people, and it's not racism, which, by the way, it is racism. Quit playing. You are racist too. White people don't have that privilege. You can't just say what you want about black folk and expect everything to go peacefully. That's not how that goes. Something else. Those girls that got on TikTok or whatever and were complaining, or I guess stating, that fat girls shouldn't be allowed in Pilates. Personally, I think that's stupid. Why not? If you are 700 pounds and you want to go rock climbing and you can rock climb, girl, climb your rock. Don't worry about nobody else. But when you found out that those girls had said that, you immediately wanted them canceled. Oh my God, she's fat phobic, she's this, she's that. Everybody loves to throw labels on things. And I can promise you in this video, there's going to be some comments that oh, she voted for Trump. Or, oh, she's a conservative. Or, oh, she's a racist. People like to just throw out names to try and make you feel bad. Fun fact, I don't give a fuck about any of your labels because I know what I am and I'm a good person. So the fact that you would use those as your comeback just shows your lack of intelligence and delusion, I guess is a good way to put that. Try to lie and twist things to make it fit your narrative. Anyways, so yeah, back to these girls. I don't think that's true about Pilates, but anyways, y'all wanted these girls made a mockery of. You wanted them canceled, you wanted them kicked out of Pilates, you wanted all of this because they said something that your beliefs did not agree with. Okay, where's their freedom of speech? When you say what you want to say, people have opinions and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, y'all like to just be hypocritical, honestly, and try and flip the script. So coming back to Charlie Kirk, RIP, by the way. I do not think that man spewed hatred. I think he stated a lot of facts with statistical and scientific backgrounds. You know what I mean? Like, you might not have liked it, but what he said usually had some fact of, truth behind it. And with his religion, I don't know. I didn't agree with everything that man said, and that's perfectly fine with me. But I agreed with some of the stuff he said. That's perfectly fine. We all have difference of opinion, and it all comes to play differently. But you wanted those girls fired from Pilates because they said something mean, but you didn't want people to be fired for saying hateful things that, in my opinion, are disgusting. I think you should be fired. However, that's not how the whole world feels, and that's perfectly fine. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. That would never happen. But we have reached a point in society today that everything you do is going to be recorded. Like that Karen lady over that baseball from that little boy. That man didn't have to give that baseball to that lady. He did. Personally, I wouldn't have. I'd have let her stand there and bitch and moan and groan and been like, too bad, so sad. In the words of the other guy that took the hat, life is first come, first serve. But y'all completely blew up this woman's life. She can't do anything. She can't go anywhere. All because of something that she believed was the right action. It wasn't. But that's what she believed. We can agree that we don't agree on that topic, right? Okay. So I don't understand how people can think that they can just say and do and spew whatever kind of word vomit they choose out of their mouth and then be like, oh, I'm protected by freedom of speech. But then on the other hand, you're like, oh no, cancel her. She has said something mean. Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see it? Like, one race or one group of people can say something about another race and another group of people, and sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. I'm a smaller human being. I personally think it's bullshit that clothes nowadays are made like 3 sizes too big. I own 000 jeans. 000. I'm only 114 pounds, but I am not a 000. But you know why I own them? Because today, what used to be a regular 0 is like a 6. So me personally, I'm offended that I don't get little people clothes anymore and, skinny people clothes and this, that, and the other. But if I say that, oh my God, she's fat phobic. I'm not fat phobic. I just want clothes that fit me. I'm not saying don't make their clothes. I'm just saying make clothes for me too. Instead, now I have to order 000 jeans because y'all want to make other people feel better about themselves when there is science proven that being overweight is not healthy. But people don't want to hear that because it's like positive body image. Woo! I'm not saying you should feel bad about who you are or what you look like. All I'm saying is that it should go both ways. Things should be fair. And people don't want fair. People want advantage or, how do I put this? They want it to benefit them, which is not what this is. So I have questions. Why is it okay sometimes and not okay the other times? Like, maybe we should all just go back to being decent human beings and not saying things that, I don't know, would truly hurt somebody. But again, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt them. If you're not tough enough to hear somebody else's opposing opinion of yours and digest that, then maybe that's a you problem.